Well, I'm here with another World of Warcraft video review. This is from Dalaran. A lot of you guys probably know him. He's been doing Warcraft stuff for a while. Link is going to be down in the description for this video. Go check out his channel. He does a lot of great stuff for the community. We're going to watch it, though, because it's talking about the new Siren Isle Zone in 11.0.7 for the World of Warcraft and the War Within. Now, it's been out for a little while in the PTR, so there's been people like, for example, Dalaran, who's been out there getting it, learning about it, and letting us know about it. So let's watch this together. I'm interested to see more in depth what's actually going on, because the preview for the Isle from Warcraft, like Blizzard itself, wasn't exactly mesmerizing. Didn't really give us a whole lot. Did give us some background into what they were thinking when they were doing it, which was cool. But let's see from some actual gameplay and some commentary from Dalaran here what's happening.
Is going. My name is Dal, and with the patch 11.0.7 out on the PTR, we could finally explore the brand new zone arriving with this update, the Siren Isle, which has been teased as a pretty big catch-up zone that offers a variety of ways for you to be able to gear out your rolls, but also upgrade your main character, with a ton of new secrets for you to discover, but also plenty of armor, weapons, transmog, as well as other collectibles such as pets and mounts for you to obtain. And while the Isle is
Okay, well, right away, did you all see that? That these quests from this isle are offering 20th anniversary reward tokens. So that's cool, right? So you're not having to go redo old stuff. You can do new stuff and still get the tokens. So I saw that.
similar type of content from previous expansions, such as the Nazjatar or Mechagon from Battle for Azeroth, for instance, or think of like Timeless Isle from Pandaria, but just on a much smaller land scale. The actual island itself is filled with content and filled with activities, and the day one of it being open on the PTR, we had an insane time with so many different events happening all at the same time. So even while the island may seem small, it gives you plenty of stuff to do. Today's video, I want to go over what the island offers, all of the different features, some of the different catch-ups, and how you'll be able to obtain the brand new ring from the island, but also go over some of the different events that you can expect from this new piece of content. As always, if you guys want to see more updates for future War Within PTR builds, be sure to follow the channel and subscribe. But otherwise, let's dive right in. So far I've been able to spend a handful of hours on the island, especially on the first day that it became available for PTR testing, and this is where everybody were on the island going through all of the different activities that were available. So I got to experience a lot of this place within a very short time. Not sure if that's exactly how the island is going to play out based on the footage you see in this video, but everything felt like it was hyper spawning and the activities were constantly happening. Maybe it's meant to function this way, or maybe it was done like this for PTR
I'm assuming they're going to slow that down
purposes so we could test everything as quickly as possible, but it just felt like there was a lot to do. Unlike in the actual island itself, you'll need to start a questline in Dornogal. The quest giver can be found in the same building as the main council for Dornogal, where renowned quartermasters are, or where you can find the portals for Stormwind and Orgrimmar. That one took a second to find. You didn't get a quest pop-up or anything on PTR to actually be able to join and explore.
Hopefully they change that and they pop up the quest for you.
This new zone. You will also be able to find a drill in the Ringing Deeps after you've completed the intro to the questline, and you'll actually see that there's a drill out here that takes you all the way back to Ringing Deep. So once you unlock the zone the first time, being able to get back here quickly, you won't have to fly or take the Zeppelin or anything. You'll just go to Ringing Deeps whenever it ends up loading. And from the main Ringing Deep station near the Gundagraz, you'll find that there's now a Dark Iron Mow machine that takes you directly to the brand new zone. So this will be very convenient for any of you that play multiple alts, as alt gameplay here is probably going to be not necessarily necessary, but encouraged more than anything.
Yeah.
And once you get to the main camp of the zone, you'll see that there's three factions established here: the Arathi, the Earthern, as well as the Goblins, and they're working together to uncover the secrets of the Siren Isle, as well as the backstory of everything that happened here. And basically the island is filled with a ton of different...
Yeah, so if you remember from the video that Blizzard released, this was like an old Kuutiran Azerite island. So they were mining Azerite and then something happened.
Rares, ton of different open world events, but also faction events that appear from time to time. Once you Turn in enough of the resources with the various factions, and there's an opportunity on this island to catch up your main, but also your alts, and collect the new ring and empower the ring, but also an opportunity for you to be able to earn a bunch of different collectibles and toys and other items and transmog just from while exploring on the island and interacting with a variety of.
The question is, how big of a grind? How big of a grind is it going to be to get these things? Because there's still stuff from like Mechagon that I haven't gotten.
Its content. The island itself is one of the smaller islands. It actually was data mined a while ago back in BFA, and maybe it was meant to be an island of sorts, like an island, like part of the island expeditions of BFA. So it's not really
Data mined all the way back in BFA. Wow.
one of the bigger zones. In fact, it's actually a smaller zone that's a little bit smaller than Mechagon from Battle for Azeroth, but it's yet another one of those zones that's supposed to be kind of mimic the Timeless Isle of Mists of Pandaria that is filled with activities. It's small, but it's condensed, so there's always something to do here at all times.
Yeah.
But the way you interact with the island, however, will be very, very different. The first thing you'll notice on this place is you have a debuff of high winds, which doesn't allow you to make flight or skyride on the island, so all of your mounts are going to be grounded for a good bit of time. It doesn't mean you can't explore the island through other means, but with mounts being grounded, this means there's going to be a heavy.
So I have heard that this has changed, right? So I don't know. This was done a few days ago, but I have read that after a small quest line, that this will change, and then you'll be able to fly, except for during storms.
Even for players that are looking for a more condensed PvP open world experiences. However, there's a variety of different ways you can traverse around the island even if you cannot fly, from grappling hooks to goblin rocket packs and other gadgets you can utilize to be able to get around the zone very, very quickly. So verticality and not being able to fly won't really be an issue whatsoever, as there's peaks high above but also caverns down below for you to explore, and it gives you plenty of ways for you to be able to get around without necessarily needing a flying mount. Pretty early on after unlocking the new isle, you also will be able to find the new ring of the Circe Circlet. This is the ring that holds multiple gem slots that can be equipped with gems that have a variety of different effects. So it'll be very different than your normal rings that just give you secondary stats, as these rings can be customized with gems that can either also give you stats, but can also give you a variety of different properties. And so far I found a handful of these gems, mostly while doing open world events on the isle, but also doing the storms and killing rares. So you can get a huge portion of these gems just by running around and doing open world activities in this new zone. Some of the gems I've gotten so far is like a secondary stat gem that provides me additional secondary stats on my highest stat. Not as good as an actual like ring with great amount of secondary stats, but the other gems can make the ring a little more interesting. I found a ring that gives me more stamina.
You know, it'd be cool is if they did this like they did in Season of Discovery, where this ring gave you like different abilities from different classes.
Increases my size a bit and causes enemies that attack me while I'm above 80% health to take additional frost damage, and another ring of Thunderlord's crackling.
Seems like they're doing, or even in like the MOP remix, remember that? Like where they gave you different abilities, that would be sick.
Citron, where my special abilities have a chance to zap the target, dealing additional nature damage. Another gem I found, and I've only really found 4 of them so far, but a Mariner's Hallowed Citrine is more of a healer gem. As you use spells and abilities, you have a chance to bathe 2 allies in restorative water, which just gives them more health each time
healers don't use
water
stuff.
jumps to those
Healers
targets.
DPS,
and it seems like all these gems have a variety of different color coordinations to them. Like there's a what seems like a blue gem with a blue text. There's a pink gem with the pink text for Windsinger's Ruined Citrine. There's orange. There's yellow. But you would think that they would equip in like yellow goes in yellow, blue goes in blue, red goes in red. But this is more of a pinkish red, and the actual like orange reddish kind of color doesn't actually go there. Instead, it actually goes in the blue. So it's interesting how they go in these, and I guess there's going to be multiple gem types that could probably be slotted into a variety of these slots, which should hopefully give you quite a bit of customizability of how you end up outfitting these gems. Now, the ring itself can also be upgraded through a variety of quests that you do out in the open world to give it a higher item level. So this ring does have some upgrades behind it, and the higher item level.
Yeah, it doesn't actually look amazing so far. This was like a big thing that they were pushing. I think you have to have it to like interact with certain things on the island. If you remember Timeless Isle, where you had to have that like legendary cloak to get over to kill the world boss or whatever. Because right now all I'm seeing is 11,000 stamina, which I mean, you know, whatever, and then whatever you switch around in here.
level of the ring is, the more potent all of these gem
Yeah, there could be some OP gems though too.
numbers become. So the higher the item level goes up, the more secondary stats provides, the more stamina and frost damage you can do, or the more nature damage you can do, scaling with the item level of the ring. And like I said, you unlock majority of the gems just by doing a lot of open world activities. And during the early days when everybody were out here on the island, this place was just filled with so many different quests and events that were happening all at the same time. Plus the storms that you can enter, which provides you another opportunity to be able to get a variety of these gems, as there's going to be even more rares and enemies and events happening on the island, but the danger level of the island goes up significantly. Another thing you also notice is once you unlock a gem type, you can actually buy those gems back up on these vendors. Okay. So if you accidentally sell these gems or destroy them or delete them, once you learned that gem, once you've unlocked it, you can always retrieve it from any of the 4 vendors. There's Angarola, which is with the Earthern. There's also a vendor with the goblins. There's supposed to be a vendor, I think it's this guy here with the Halafal Arathi. And then there's also a Tortolan way up here on the island that you could buy some of the more Leviathan Citron gems. So there's at least 4 different vendors, but any gems you unlock on a character, you'll be able to retrieve them on your main afterwards. Now, as for the actual activities in the island, like I said before, day 1, I don't know if all these activities were turned up to an 11 or whatnot, but it felt like there was so much to do, and maybe even a little bit too much to do all at the same time. With so many different events happening all at once, with so many...
Yeah, it does sound like from what he's saying that, you know, everything's sort of cluttered and going on all at once. I'm sure they'll space that out. The PTR usually changes quite a bit from the PTR in my experience.
Different open world events, a ton of different rares that are what felt like were hyper spawning. So there was just way too much to do.
Well,
it's
they're
a
definitely
small
not
island,
hyper spawn
but
rares.
there's so many things happening at the same time. You actually are kind of happy that it's small because you can get to all these activities and participate in everything all at once very, very, very quickly. And this island has a variety of different daily quests that you can pick up from some of the different NPCs scattered all the around the island. There's also even weekly events, open world events, and a lot of opportunity for you to earn a new currency called the Flame Blessed Iron, which you'll be needing in order to power even more of these events. As in the middle of the actual camp, you'll have a command map, and you can invest this currency to fill up the bar of any of the 3 factions, which activate different events and different bosses depending on the faction.
So clearly there's going to be one that everybody wants to do, right? We just have to figure out which one does which.
So all of these factions are necessary in order to be able to unlock even more events, which you'll be using with the Flame Blessed Irons, which you can collect from most of the things that you do on the island, from treasures, rares, and even world events. However, the currency of Flame Blessed Iron does have multiple other purposes, as well as there's a...
That's what I was waiting for. Here's how big is this grind going to be? How much time are we going to sink into farming these things here? Oh, they're all warband though. Well, that'll be good for alts.
Number of vendors on this isle, like there's a quartermaster for instance that allows you to be able to buy warband gear, which has its own unique recolor appearances for some of the earthen dungeon set for leather, cloth, plate, mail, and all the items you can obtain here are warbound. So anything you buy on your main character, you can then put on your warbound bank or send it to your alts directly, and those characters can equip those items immediately, which is convenient because right now Flame Blessed Iron isn't a warbound currency. You can't really transfer it across multiple characters, which is odd because so many currencies right now in War Within are warband transferable. So having this one not be transferable just feels a little odd, because you are going to have to visit this island on your alts to be able to get the ring in order to be able to have this upgrade item on those old characters as well. So I think they should just make this warband transferable. Maybe it's a bit of an oversight, but we'll see what the future updates provide us. However, Blessed Flame Iron can also be used on other things like cosmetics. So if you're a big fan of cosmetics, you don't really want to gear out your alts, you can always grab yourself some of the trading post cosmetics that are making a return within this isle, specifically like the Water Blaster PK, or potentially any of the summer sets from the original trading posts, where you have the pink tropical ensemble as well as the pink tropical swimwear. Both of them could be purchased with quite a bit of Flame Blessed Iron, but you earn a lot of this iron just for completing activities on the Isles. So 5,000 really doesn't really feel like a lot, to be honest. You also will be able to get the red surfboard, but it doesn't look like it has been implemented just yet on the vendor, but it is marked as supposed to be dropped or at least bought by So Easy, which is the vendor right here. So you'll be able to get cosmetics, but also also a brand new mount to add to your collection.
Okay.
Lastly, I want to talk about
I like
the Storm,
mounts.
which is an event that you unlock once you fill up the bar of Serpent's Wrath, which seems to be available once a day for the island. Or at least it was available the other day, and it's available today as well, and that just might be a PTR thing. But once you fill up, do a bunch of activities on the island, you fill up a bar to be able to unlock the Storm's Wrath, which is kind of like a phased version of the island, which you can enter and leave at any time you want to. But this phased version of the island with the Storm active makes all the enemies on the island juiced to another degree.
Juiced.
Everything is a lot more dangerous, everything has a lot of health, there's a lot more elites out and about. The Storm itself is a little bit less of a calm place, it's a little bit more active, a lot more hostile, everything out here wants to kill you, but you also get access to a variety of goblin engineering tools such as a mecha suit, potentially some goblin mines, or even a grenade launcher to have a little bit of an easier time fighting off some of these threats. And certain events are only available only during the storms, so you're encouraged to go into the storms because the rewards from
So it makes sense, right? They're going to have something that's a little bit harder, and then there's going to be things that you're going to have to go into the storm like to get.
The storms are a little bit better than doing the events outside of the storms. So you really do want to activate hard mode as soon as possible and to group up with other players and then slay through as many enemies as possible in order to be able to unlock even more.
I imagine when this first launches, just like anything else, you're going to be able to go to Group Finder and find groups for all this stuff.
Additional weekly rewards, but also even find some of the secrets out in the open world.
Secrets.
One of the big mounts you're supposed to be able to get from the Siren Isle is...
Super stoked about this. This thing looks super sick. It looks like, this thing was data mined like forever ago. What was the bird you got for ahead of the curve? It is like a glittery bird. It's this model. Oh man. Was it Kill Jaden? Was it Legion ahead of one of the Legion ahead of the curves? You got this model, but it was different. But this is cool. It's like a little Thunderbird.
Thryer, Eyes of the Siren Phoenix, or Lightning Phoenix, Lightbird. But actually, I'm pretty sure I found it just exploring out within one of the crypts of the Isle, but it's only available for you to be able to activate and potentially work on the mount and obtain it while you are within the storm. So you will want to activate storms in order to be able to achieve some of the more prestigious rewards from the Siren Isle. Which, like I said before, it gives you a lot of different incentives to activate the hard mode version of this Isle as soon as possible, because this is where you're going to be able to get some of the best rewards available. But with everything being said, as always, I do want to thank all of you guys so much for watching this update, and I hope all of you did enjoy the video. If you did enjoy it or found it informative, go ahead and give this video a like. I would very, very much appreciate it. Join our...
cool. Very cool. Thanks, Dalaran. Yeah, so there's the Isle. There was a lot. He covered a lot. There was a lot said there. There's a lot going on. Basically, you get the quest, you go there, you do activities, and you have storm mode and not storm mode. And you get currency and you buy stuff, and you get catch-up gear. Sounds cool to me. I don't think it's going to be as overwhelming as I was sort of thinking that it was going to be. I think we're going to get there, and I think it's going to go at a good pace. Yeah, I need to check in because, like I said, I think that there was something that came out that said that you can now fly there when it's not during a storms, which would be nice because things like you still can't fly in some places, right? Like whenever they release Timeless Isle, Mechagon, all those kind of things, like or even like Nazjatar and stuff like that, like you couldn't fly in them. I honestly hate ground mounts. I like flying. This makes it easier, but hey, I'm a practical kind of person. I just want to get on there and go to where I'm going and do it. So, but I think it's going to be cool. Let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for it? You're not excited for it? The mounts are going to be pretty sick. That Thunderbird thing is going to be pretty cool. That's what I'm really looking for there. So not going to be a huge addition to gameplay. Like there's no new dungeons or anything right now. So it's going to be pretty chill, but it's going to be fun. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to sub. Have a fun time playing the game, and I'll catch you all later.